video, we'll be preparing the 3D print for molding by cleaning up some rough edges, and we're going to use a product called XTC 3D, which basically is a clear plastic that fills in all of the little layer lines and sanding marks, and comes out to be a real slick finish. I've already done the inside. I don't know if you can see the shine in there or not, but I've already done it, and so that way we can just go ahead and work on this like it is without having to worry about flipping back and forth. But before I do that, I want to reinforce this area right here of this handle by adding some material. And so that material I'm going to add is just plain old modeling clay, just like you used to play with in school. I've got about 6 pounds of it here. Tear off a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to apply this and basically fill it out and increase the web strength of where this handle joins on the hub. No sense in getting fancy. Always put more on. You can always pull it right back off. But we do want it to look halfway decent. We don't want to leave a bunch of marks that we're going to have to sand out of the finished product. Little bits of clay. That's got the top. Not too bad. So now we want to fill this bottom end down here. This is where I really want to try to beef this up. And of course we want it to be symmetrical from side to side. So I'm going to need a little bit more here. Got to be kind of careful and not put my fingers in the top because it is in pretty good shape. Okay. I've actually got more on the other side than I do this side. So it's kind of hard to tell in video, I'm sure, because there's just all different colors of this clay that I've mixed together. So you don't get a feel for the net shape as much as if it's all one color. But that's not too bad. That's bulked that up. I feel a lot better about that holding now. And so what we'll do is we'll just apply this XTC 3D right over that clay, and it'll harden into a shell, like a candy shell. The XTC 3D is pretty simple. It's mixed up in a 2-to-1 volume. It's not really super critical on the mixture. This stuff's pretty thick. I want enough to make sure I can cover the whole project, but I don't want to waste it because it's not the cheapest stuff. But once you opened it, it does have a shelf life. So once you open a bottle, you need to do as many projects as you can because it isn't going to last long sitting on the shelf. It's about half. Okay, and we'll just stir this till we get what looks like a good blend. It'll further mix when it's painted on the product, so that's not a great stir, but it will work. So I'm going to start off just by pouring some of it here on the top, just to speed the process up. And this will pretty much seek its own level. That's why it works so well. And I made a little bit of a tactical error there. I should have started with the bottom side of the handle. So before I get too much more on the head, I will flip it over and get that bottom coated down. And like I said, you don't have to be real particular about leaving brush marks because it's going to flow over all of them and make a nice smooth finish. Now we can work out the sides. I mixed up way too much. I forgot how far this stuff goes. And so this is pretty much the process. We'll let her set overnight, come in and do some light scuff sanding because there's always some little stickers. Sticking out, and of course this envelope will be stuck to the bottom of it with a big mess. But it cleans up fast. And that's how quick that is. It's been about 18 hours, and now you can see the result of the XTC 3D we applied. And we've got a nice shell on top of that clay, so it's not soft anymore. We've got some extra material that's run down that'll have to be trimmed off, and we've got some bumps that'll have to be sanded. So I'll get that done, and then we'll bring you back and we'll talk about setting this up to mold it. So when we come back after sanding and trimming, that's pretty much what it looks like. It's good to go. It's ready to have the mold pulled off of it, and that's what we're going to do. Let's talk about that now. This object presents a little bit of a problem in that this hub tapers as it goes to the top, which of course you want to mold it where that's going to pull out of the mold this way, but you still have to mold this hole in it. So what it's going to require is building a mold and splitting this along this edge, curving and then going along this, coming across and dropping off into there, but not around the outside. So it's going to be a two-level mold. One level will be up where my thumb and finger is, the other level will be down here.
with a shape like that. And then of course the corresponding piece will be the top of that. So it's going to be a little extra work molding it up as versus a lot of objects that are pretty simple, but it's just part of the deal. So how do we go about it? Well, we have what's called a mold box. And these are pretty simply made. That's all in the frame, but essentially what it is a series of L-shaped boards that you can clamp together in any configuration. I could make it short, I could make it long, I could make it wide, I could make it narrow. And so in this instance, we pick a dimension that works. For the part, and we clamp it up. And the part will sit in here like this. Of course, we got more depth than we need, so it'll be built up and set like that in that L-shaped configuration with a bottom part that supports and then comes up to pour that. We'll pour from the top. We'll turn it up on its end when we're done, and we'll do the pour through here so that way we don't get any air trap down here in the handle section. And we'll fill it slowly until it fills all this, comes up, and we'll probably put a little air relief up here. So the pour will be here, air relief over here, and that's how we'll get it done. In the molding process, I've placed some 2x4s basically down in there to raise this up in the mold to a little bit of a height. And so now we need to fill in the bottom up to the level that we're going to put material. So that means more clay. And the clay will go in place. And we just keep adding clay. Whoops. It's a little ungainly at this point. Clay could stand to be a little bit warmer. In fact, I might heat it up before I try to get the basic layout here. And we'll establish the water line of where we want the first pour to go, which again will end right here at this surface and be at this level, but then we'll drop down and be at the center of the side of the handle going to the back. It takes a little, when you're filling up this much space with clay, clay can be your friend, and clay can cause you problems. So filling that up. Start adding material. Bring up some of these low areas. Just getting it roughed out. Clay also works as a seal where the box corners meet, keeping the urethane that we're going to use for the mold from escaping and running itself out between the cracks in the boards. So we always make sure you run a strip of clay up the corners to operate as that seal. With the head pretty well supported now, we can move back to the body of the handle along its length. And start building it up. So now you get an idea of what I'm talking about. We'll build this as a wall and bring this up halfway up the handle, and then pour this full for 1/2 the mold, and then we'll unmold that, turn it upside down, and fill the top half. And that gives us a parting line that will operate with the draft on the head, and the handle still be able to come out. Got a little bit of it filled back in. Almost finished up, and you can see the 2 levels there. So just a little cleanup now to make a smooth parting line, and we'll be ready to pour this and this. I may put, to save material, I may, I'm going to right now, put a chunk of wood in here. Also in this here, of course, I'll pour this all the way up level to the top, or close to the top, and I'll lay a popsicle stick in here because this wall right here will be the same thickness as this. It'll be the only thing holding that up, and so you need something to keep that straight so it doesn't slouch over into the part when we do the molding. So there you go, half the job, and we'll be back when we start mixing up and do the pour.